everybody, and welcome to the show this week. This is Danny B. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but this is the Nascar Weekly Podcast here on Danny B Talks, joined by my two co-hosts, The Iceberg and Black Flags Matter, and a very special guest. You may recognize him as the 2019 K&N East Series champion, Sam Mayer. How's it going, guys?
What's going on, Sam? How's it going, man?
It's going great. Glad to be on.
Yes, so let's get right into it, man. So, one of my series, I do championship seasons, and man, it's about to be championship season Sam Mayer 2019 here in the K&N East series, bro. Like, just talk about your season, man. Like, I'll be honest, I never heard of you beforehand, but then some of my subscribers were like, hey, you should do a video on this kid. Like, he's the real deal. And I'm like, well, I'll wait and see how he does in his first K&N East series season. And you just blew it out. You just blew the competition out. How's it feel?
I mean, it's definitely been a really good season, to say the least. GMS Racing put together a really good car for me to run every week, so I didn't really have an excuse not to win. But we had a really good year and capped it off in Dover with a win and ending up with a championship. So it was a really good season.
Yeah, and how many? Just a follow up. How many wins did you have exactly? Sorry, I don't really keep up with it as much as
we ended up with 4 wins out of 12 races.
All right, so you swept Bristol, then you won Iowa, and then you won Dover, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome, tough tracks to tame there. Good job, man.
Danny, you're up, man.
Danny.
Oh, I thought Jared was going second. My apologies.
No, I'm third.
No, he's third.
I go 3.
Yeah, good to go, man.
Already acting professional, I see. Sam, all three of us, we actually had the opportunity to see you win at the Fall Bristol race, which was pretty cool. And, that's the track that you swept. Is it safe to say that's one of your favorite tracks now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a really good thing to say you swept at a place like Bristol. It's definitely one of my favorites, and Dover's up there too. That place is a blast, and I guess you can overall say I like concrete racetracks. I mean, I guess we get along pretty good.
Is it something about maybe that style, that high banking and the acceleration to get off those turns that just maybe suits your driving style best, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I like tracks where you just in the gas pedal as much as you can and trying to hustle the car to get every ounce of speed and aerodynamic speed out of the car. So, I mean, a place like Dover, you're trying to get every ounce of racetrack and race car you can get, especially coming up off the corner, so you can have as much momentum as possible. And I mean, Bristol too, trying to keep your momentum up around the short track. So, I mean, I love any type of racetrack, but those two are definitely one of my favorites.
See, that kind of driving style, that mentality right there, to me, that sounds like you got the perfect thing going for you. I can't wait to see you on a track like, I don't know, like your Kansas, Michigan, and the upper series. With that kind of knowledge, you get what it takes to keep your foot in the gas pedal. That'll be good for you going forward. I can't wait to see you in the upper series.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got to ask, with the K&N cars and driving in them and just compared to other series, I guess, how different or similar is it? Is there certain things you had to change in your driving style to become so dominant? Like, how was that process for you, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, I got to run the K&N car at Bristol and the truck at Bristol on the same day. So going back and forth between the two vehicles, it was definitely pretty weird. The K&N car turned a lot quicker than the truck. It was overall more nimble, I guess you could say, whereas the truck was more lazy. So I mean, the K&N car feels like overall it's a lot easier to drive. So it's definitely going to be different going into a place like Martinsville, where you really have to turn the wheel to keep the car on the bottom. But also compared to like late model stocks, which I drove with Junior Motorsports last year, they're a lot faster to the gas, and you have to be more smooth in those things. Whereas the late model, you can hustle the crap out of the car and get a lot of speed there.
Yeah, so speaking of Junior Motorsports, you're sort of a part of their development program. Talk about that and how that's helped with your career.
Yeah, with Junior Motorsports and GMS getting a technical alliance and making this development program, it's really made my career pretty much, I guess you could say. I mean, I wouldn't be where I was without Junior Motorsports or GMS Racing. I mean, I wouldn't even have thought of getting a championship without those two teams. And them coming together and making a developmental series or a developmental program like this really helped me, whether it be like getting me physically fit for different racetracks or just watching video and learning different types of racetracks or how the aero works at different tracks like Dover. Dover was a big track where aerodynamics took over, and going there for the second time in my career, I learned a lot from my first time, but just looking at video and looking at graphs of how the air works there really helped me succeed, I feel like. So just there's so many components to the developmental program, and Driver's Edge brings pretty much every part to the table.
Excellent. That being said, you know, the importance of having those kind of technical lines that you can go off of. Is there anyone, maybe some veteran drivers that have been a good mentor to you? Like I saw something on Twitter the other day that looked like Josh Wise was, maybe someone who's giving you a lot of support as you go up. Is he maybe a good coach for you, or is there anyone else that is helping you a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a lot of experience around me, whether it's my crew chief, Marty Lindley, who's been around the sport since he was a little kid, or whether it's Josh Wise, which, I mean, I consider him my trainers because he helps me with the mental part of the game and the physical part of the game as well. And, I mean, other drivers such as Brett Moffitt, he helped me a ton at Bristol, just teaching me how the trucks work when we went to test and teaching me, like, how the VHT wears in and where like kind of wears out at the same time. So, I mean, I have drivers and former drivers and really good crew chiefs behind me. And I can't thank really everyone enough for everything they've done this year. It's definitely a season to remember.
One of the other guests we're going to have on tonight was Zack Novak, iRacing champion. I know that's a great tool for a lot of up-and-coming drivers. Is that something that you partake in as well?
Yeah, I mean, iRacing and simulator time in general is very important to a young racer like I am. So just getting the opportunity to go to like the Chevy simulator or just going downstairs on my iRacing simulator, it's helped me a lot throughout the year, going to tracks, bigger tracks that NASCAR and iRacing have. It really does help me. And I mean, having other drivers that use iRacing as well helps me just become a better driver and soaking all the knowledge I can.
So you had mentioned a bit that you needed, you were getting advice and help also on the mental side of the game. I guess as you climb up the ladder, how does that play a factor? Is it like a much more challenging in that aspect as well as the physical aspect? Like how does the mental game play into whether or not a driver succeeds or doesn't?
Well, when I say mental, I mean like understanding what racetracks do what over the course of a run and what tire does what, and just understanding the race car in general and understanding aerodynamics. Aerodynamics is probably one of the biggest things I've learned this year, going to the bigger tracks like Iowa and Dover that the K&N Series runs on, where air pretty much takes over. So like when we pitted halfway through the Iowa race, we lost 4 spots on pit road. Because we put on more tires than everyone else. And I used the air to my advantage, which other people didn't know. And I was able to pass all 3 cars that were in front of me in one lap just because I knew what aerodynamics happened on that restart. So it definitely was really helpful in learning everything this year. I mean, I consider this year a learning year, but the championship just came with it and the wins did too. And I mean, this was definitely a year where I became a completely different driver from New Smyrna to Dover. And I can't thank everyone at GMS for sticking with me through the whole year, and everyone at Driver's Edge Development and Chevrolet for giving me the opportunity to show my stuff and go get some wins.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better from here. So, I mean, talking about the future, any 2020 plans perhaps, or are those still in the works as we speak?
As of right now, we plan to go full-time ARCA racing next year as much as we can in the short track shootout or whatever they're going to call it. And then full-time ARCA East deal as well, trying to get as much racing as possible. And if that goes well, we're going to do a bunch of truck races next year as well. I think we're planning to do 5 or 6 maybe, and hopefully we can do as much as we can.
Sweet.
That's awesome. something big happened to you here recently. You got your driver's license, and most people around here know my full-time job is I'm a car salesman. What led you to getting that Chevy Tahoe? Is that what you got?
Yeah, that's what I got, a 2020 Tahoe.
Nice.
That's dope.
What kind
And
of
that's your
features?
first car, correct?
Yeah, that's my first car, and it's that's definitely a heck of a car to have for your first car.
Oh no, yeah, no doubt, man.
My first car was a 2005 Ford Ranger, and I only just now over the summer made an upgrade to a newer Tacoma.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one thing I want to kind of ask really quick before we go to the fan questions is, with you turning 16, how is balancing the race car driver life with the social and school kind of life? How does that work for you? Because I know with each person in this situation, it works in different ways. So I guess how is that for you, balancing those different worlds together?
Yeah, socially wise, like when I'm at the racetrack every weekend, especially being in like the K&N or ARCA series, there's a lot of younger drivers there too. So the social aspect there isn't really a problem. I have a lot of friends over at the racetrack. But when I ran late models, they were all older people and people who have either made it or just want to hang out and run late models. So the social aspect was definitely different back then. But with school, I do online school, so everything is online. And I can literally just take my computer and a notebook with me to the racetrack if I wanted to and do it there when I have downtime. But I usually try to get ahead a little bit before the weekend so I don't have to worry about it and I can focus 100% on racing.
Right on, man. Where do you go to school, or where at for online classes?
It's called Alpha Omega Academy, and it's an academy out of Iowa. And I did that my freshman, sophomore, and now my junior year as well. Nice,
man. All right, so we're going to go into a couple of fan questions here from Christian M22 in the chat. His question's asking who's better, Derek Kraus or Jagger Jones, but I'll sort of rephrase the question. Is there who are some of the young up-and-comers that you think will be good in the future? As well as yourself?
I mean, you never really know someone's potential unless you see them for a full 2 years. I mean, Jagger, this is his first year in the K&N series, and he already has a win. So, I mean, he's really good, and we've been friends since back in the go-kart days. So, I mean, I'm obligated to say something like that about him, but I truly do feel like he's a really good driver, and he was excellent back in go-karts, and I feel like that's going to carry over for him. And I mean, talking about Derek Kraus too, I think he's going to win the West Series points by like 40 points or something like that. So he's obviously really good as well. But I mean, you have a lot of the drivers that aren't in the best equipment right now, and they have a lot of potential. And I don't want to stick my nose where other people's business is, but I feel like there's a lot of good people in the K&N and ARCA series that if they got a ride like GMS or Venturini or all those big shot teams, I feel like they'd be competitive to win every single weekend.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Second question comes from Corvette 48, Corvette Racing 48. His question is, who's your favorite Cup driver? Do you even have a favorite? Or
I mean, I've worked out with Josh Wise, and he has a lot of Cup drivers that he works with as well. And I've worked out with Kyle Larson a bunch too. So I think him, Alex Bowman are my two top favorite. I mean, obviously Chase Elliott's a really fan favorite person too, but pretty much anyone Team Chevy, I guess you could say.
I knew it. See, I knew you had to stick with the company policy, huh? can't say no Ford drivers or anything, right? All right, then moving on. Last question here. Wow, don't really trying to scroll and find one. Well, somebody asked, talk about your 2020 plans. We already discussed that. And third question is, when do you see yourself in the Cup Series? And 3 to 4 years, something like that. Where do you like in 5 years do you see yourself in the Cup Series?
Yeah, I mean, the optimal time would be around when I'm 20 years old and have a lot of like growth and experience before I go to the top level and show what I got. Because you never want to blow your shot and have people think, oh, he's not that good, and just leave them to us. So, I mean, we're going to stick around the ARCA series for a while, just till I turn 18. And then we'll try to either go full-time truck racing, or maybe even Xfinity racing if that's possible. But I mean, I want to get to Cup pretty soon in the next 5 or 6 years. That's what I want. But it all depends on how I do and how the teams that I go with think I can do.
Oh yeah, right on, man. Yeah, and you brought up a good point. Definitely, it's like, sometimes some of these drivers, they'll rush up too soon, and then bam, like, they go from boom to bust in no time. So I don't think that's going to be the case with you. I think you're the real deal, man. So just keep on working.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so that'll do it. Actually, any final thoughts, and also, where can people find you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank GMS enough for everything they do for me, and obviously Team Chevy as well, giving me the opportunity, bringing the Driver's Edge program together, and giving me the shot to show my stuff and show what I can do. And I mean, I'm really excited for the 2020 season, going full-time ARCA racing as much as we can, and then hopefully doing some truck stuff. And you can follow me on Twitter at Sam_Mayer_, and Instagram Sam.Mayer21.
All right, right on, man. And once again, thank you so much to Sam Mayer, one of the up-and-coming drivers in NASCAR, the 2019 the 2019 K&N East Series champion. We appreciate having you on, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, you have a good one, man.
Thank you.
Later, man.
So one of the funny things about Zoom is that when you hit the off button, it takes about 2 minutes or so. It takes like
forever. Yeah, it takes like forever to do that. But yeah, that was Sam Mayer. That guy is definitely one of the bright stars in the sport of NASCAR. And I mean, definitely a name.
Me though with that Cup answer, like, on round 20 or so, I was like, man, geez.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals where it's like, I don't think you realize until like you take a step back and you look at how the sport's progressing that way, that like that isn't an unrealistic expectation at this point. That's very realistic. So
yep.
That's crazy, man. I'm use another one.
Kids, some of these kids, they want to get paid, man, or they want to prove their worth. So hey, you can't be mad at that. I mean, gotta respect it, but also they also have to know the risk that comes with it. So it's like, okay, if I move up, then it's like, it's like, oh, I don't know, but yeah. Oh, and also, Ray, he said in the chat, "Am I drunk or did Darian and Jared just switch places?" That's because Jared's camera went off for a moment, and Zoom does that sometimes. So yeah, we did switch. Yeah, we didn't do it on purpose though; it was out of our control. But
look, now I can't tell on here whether or not, because I'm looking. It also flips it. Yeah, but I can't tell. It's like if I'm looking up at Danny right now, or is that Darian? I don't know.
Darian.
You're looking at me right now.
All right. Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, anyway, it looks weird because on my screen I'm looking over at Darian this way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, man, that was I love hearing from these newer drivers though, and these up and coming guys, because you can tell they've not been through the same cup filter, so they can speak a little more freely. But at the same time, it's like, it's amazing to see the maturity of some of these younger drivers. Like when we had Jagger Jones on, for instance, it's one of those deals where it's like, man, it's like, and we talked about this before the show, like how many times has he heard someone go, when I was 16, it's like, when I was 16, there was no way I could be as professional and just goal oriented. So credit goes to him, man. That's and pardon my Kyle Petty, that's incredible.
That's incredible right there. You see, when I was 16, I could barely make the regionals in track and field, and this dude's already winning K&N championships, man. And and before he ever got his license too. And plus, he's winning at these skill-based tracks like Bristol, Dover, and Iowa. Like, it's crazy. And, he's still got a very long way to go, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. And really quick in the chat, I see Caden in here. He's a Bandolero bullring racer. He says, Darian, you did an awesome job at the bullring in the book last week. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, so last minute, I got to commentate at the bullring, and that was a lot of fun. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later, but let's move on.
We have another guest coming on soon.
So, this is where I'll take over. And, guys, our next guest, well, we just got a little bit of a video clip for you guys to see, and this will explain exactly who we're talking about.
Novak a tad bit lower. They'll drag race to 3 and 4. Can Leahy make one last-ditched opportunity? The 6 has got a block. He'll look high down to the inside. Side by side. outside for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead. Novak will squeeze on the outside, and for the first time, Zack Novak is the Nascar Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series champion.
Wow, what a race there. Keegan Leahy did everything he could. The 25-year-old, there you go, on board with Zack Novak. The 17-year-old just won $40,000. Relief, excitement, Steve. I mean, I can't believe that moment.
He looked so stoic for 140 laps, but now you see the emotion of the moment. The emotion coming over him, and what a race. What a clean race, side by side, door to door. Looks like he's holding back the emotion. The driver of the 6 with his 4th win in 2019.
I'd say that's the family coming in, too.
I love it.
That's awesome.
And for how able he was to be focused throughout this race, guys, he was stone cold looking at him, nothing, totally locked in to see this emotion. What a big moment, and what a call as well to that team for making this pick. When Zack Novak was selected in the draft by Roush Fenway, he was the number 10 pick. So they got a really good steal in picking this driver, sticking with him, and you can see the emotion, the biggest moment of his not only sim racing career, we mentioned that as well. He's got 4 quarter-minute championships. There's the burnout as Zack Novak is on top of the mountain as an officially sanctioned NASCAR champion. And that comes, again, with that $40,000 prize.
17-year-old from Connecticut. He's won championships in quarter midgets, but now he's at the professional level. Paid to drive, $40,000 he's earned in his driving today. A high school student.
Incredible. He's going to have a lot to talk about going back to school.
Alrighty, y'all. That was Zack Novak's big moment at Homestead, Miami in the iRacing Championship. And now we are joined with Zack. Zack, how's it going, bud?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good, man.
I'm great.
Doing good. We've now all seen the footage from that night. Take us through, like, what was you thinking about those last, 5 laps or so?
To be honest with you, it was just a blur. I couldn't really think it through. I was just kind of telling myself, like, just don't make a mistake, don't mess up. This is your time to shine. So, yeah, I kind of tried to do everything I had been doing that whole race and just not mess up, because that was definitely not the time to. So.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. Talk about the journey up to this point. I know you didn't just get into esports, overnight. So how long did it take you to reach this point in iRacing?
It's been about 7 years,
Wow.
give or take. And I got into the Peak Series via qualifying through the Pro Series about 3.5 years ago. More like 3 years ago now. And, whenever I got into it, it was just kind of like, if I can make this, like, that's cool. But, I didn't really expect to make it, let alone get to this point. But it's definitely a long grind. It takes a lot of effort. And I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of people on social media not really understanding what this is. I mean, obviously, it's not a lot of hands-on work and whatnot, but it really is extremely mentally draining, and a lot of people put their heart and soul into this stuff. And I think it's a legitimate platform that we have to prove how good we are as drivers and potentially make a career, either if esports can keep jumping up like it has been, or if stock car racing, like with a bigger team in the truck series, K&N, something like that, presents itself. I think there's drivers in iRacing like Ray, like Luza, that are good enough to take a K&N ride or even a local late model ride and potentially run with it. I think that's how big iRacing is to our sport.
You were saying how esports has been jumping up and up and stuff. And while there has been sort of that old head pushback so far, it's definitely starting to break more mainstream. Being on NBCSN, stuff like that. I gotta ask, 5-10 years from now, if we sit down on this podcast having the same conversation, where, just in your view, do you think that iRacing and esports and NASCAR will have risen to at that point?
Well, I mean, the jump even to next year from this year is just going to be insane. I'm not sure about all of the numbers, but I believe this year's prize pool was 150,000 total, or 120. It was something along those lines. But next year is supposed to be 250,000 total, which is huge.
Wow.
For iRacing, NASCAR, everybody involved, that's huge. And so who knows where it'll be in 10 years. The hope is that if you're good enough to compete at the top level year in, year out, you could get a salary out of it. At that point, who knows where it'll jump to. But I don't know. I think it's definitely a viable option to provide people racing careers that maybe didn't have the money initially to go and have a real life racing career. But it's going to be crazy to see where it does end up, because who knows? It's really difficult to predict, and we'll just have to see.
So esports, well, at least NASCAR esports has two sides. You have the iRacing side, and then on the other you have NASCAR Heat. What are your thoughts and opinions on the NASCAR Heat Pro League?
I actually did an AMA today on NASCAR Reddit, and I answered one of these questions. And I basically, to put it simply, I basically said that I think NASCAR Heat and iRacing are in two different leagues of their own. I think NASCAR Heat is, although it's extremely difficult because I've tried it and I'm not good at it because it's completely different. I feel like it's more of like a casual, like it's easier for casual NASCAR fans to get into, rather than iRacing, where it's a lot more of like I don't want to say, I guess the easiest way to put it is it's more of a realistic simulation of like what cars are actually going to do. And so, like I said, I think NASCAR Heat is a lot easier to get into, but it's just as hard to be at the top level of it as it is iRacing. They're just difficult in their own respects.
That's a good answer, because I've done both, and both of them. I'm not good at either of them, but you can at least like decide which one better suits like your skill disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Really quick, I want to ask. So, I believe I think I'm correct here that you'll be going to Homestead for the championship presentation. So I gotta say, like, on top of just that, what are you looking forward to with that? Do they like just send you for one day, or is it like the whole weekend that you're going to be out there?
I'm not really sure. I went to Martinsville last year with iRacing for the Ignite Championship. I won last year, and that was more like a one-day thing because Martinsville obviously doesn't host an Xfinity race, and I don't even think there was a truck race that weekend. There could have been. I'm not entirely sure. But I basically went out like Saturday night, went to the race Sunday, and then went home Monday morning. So it was more of like a one-day thing. I'd assume Homestead is more drawn out. Like I'd get there like Friday morning, leave like Monday night or something along those lines. But I'm really excited to just meet everybody from iRacing. I think that's the biggest thing is I've heard of people like Tony Gardner, Steve Myers, the people that are really a huge part in making this happen and providing us with this platform. but I've never actually met them. So I'm really curious to talk to them and pick their brain a little bit on how they think esports and iRacing as a whole is going to jump in the next 5 years or so.
Absolutely. Zach, my question is, I've never really been big into, the esports of racing, sim racing, but I was very competitive in terms of fishing at one point. And I apologize for it. One thing I would always have to do is make sure I did a lot of practice, and like the more time I spent on the water, the better I would be in that. For you in iRacing, how much time do you have to invest each week in order to be at the level you're at?
Well, it definitely depends. Some weeks will be less because in real life terms, you roll off the truck well, to where you just instantly have a good car for that said track. So I don't really have an example of that. I guess a good example I could use would be Michigan this year. We pretty much showed up with a car that we thought was pretty competitive within the first few practice sessions we did, and I think I don't know. It's normally probably a minimum of like 20 hours per week, or I guess per race. So some races are, most races are split up bi-weekly. One race we had this year was a week break, and those are kind of more tense. But I don't really hate it. I like the idea of the 1 week break instead of two. Who knows where iRacing plans to go with that? But yeah, I mean it's probably minimum 20 hours per race, upwards of 40 to 50 depending on the track. So
Wow, that's a lot of work.
That's
Put in the work,
impressive.
man.
That's something that I think a lot of people probably don't realize. It's like, because I wanted to kind of ask you, when you hear some of these sort of older media members, fans, and they just sort of disregard iRacing and esports in general for NASCAR. I guess for you, it's like, is it just one of those deals where you just like, I'm gonna prove them wrong, or is it like one where you're like seriously kind of thing? Like how as somebody who participates in this series, how do you kind of view the sort of split on this deal?
Well, I think people, like I said before, I think they just don't really understand the legitimacy of it. And although the cars may be simulated and like the tracks are simulated, the drivers aren't, the strategy isn't, and the money definitely isn't. So I mean it's definitely legitimized, but I don't think people are willing to really understand that yet. And a lot of people, they just kind of brush it off like, what the hell is this? Like, put my actual NASCAR on the TV. Like, where's my Sunday racing? And although I really love watching the Cup races every Sunday, I think this is a bridge that allows young and older drivers alike to get an entry into the sport, or just maybe they've never raced before, but they try iRacing and they enjoy it so much to where they become a racing fan. And I think that's what people have to understand, is it's not just something that people are playing. Like, it's a legitimate way for the sport to grow.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on into some fan questions for you, Zach. So I'm going to scroll down and find some. Let's see. Streamsville Speedway's question is, Zach, do you think iRacing is the same as being inside a race car?
No. And I think Twitter and Facebook and every other social media platform has kind of blown this out of proportion. It's definitely not the same as being inside a real race car. I think that's pretty obvious. But I do think with how iRacing laser scans their tracks, gets legitimate data from race teams, um, it's pretty much the closest thing you're going to get besides a manufacturer sim. And so I think that's why real drivers use iRacing so frequently to get better or just practice on a track that they may have never driven before. And Dale Jr. is extremely public about how much he uses iRacing or used iRacing while he was still driving to learn a track that he may have never raced at before. And I think, hold on, I'm trying to think of the question.
You're good, man.
If I recall correctly, Dale Jr., speaking about him being such a big proponent of it, if I recall, he won the very first NASCAR.
Yeah, he did.
race.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Long time ago now, seems like.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, it's really been that long. Holy crap. I didn't realize that. Man, it took me back there. Second question comes from Bounty Chuck. His question is, roughly how much money have you invested in iRacing over the years, counting your computer and your wheel setup?
Well, last year when I won the Ignite Championship, I was given a $10,000 check, which was used to basically upgrade anything or put towards anything racing related. I decided to put it towards upgrading my sim equipment because it wasn't that great at the time. And so I'd say my setup right now is worth probably about $3,000 roughly.
Ooh, holy cow.
But I mean that most of that's from the computer. Like my PC is about $2,000 ish.
But think of it, it's like any racing. Racing ain't cheap no matter how you look at it. Your computer is your engine that you're buying,
Yeah, basically.
Damn. So yeah, that's a lot of money. Holy crap.
It is, yeah.
And so for the final question I have is from Christian M22, and I'm going to rephrase this a little bit. So, over the years, we've seen some iRacers such as, Ty Majeski, make their way into actually racing real stock cars. Is that a route you plan on taking since you're the esports champion?
I definitely want to. I think there's a lot more tied into the way Ty went up into the Xfinity Series, and he's had a lot of success in ARCA this year. And I think the William Byron story, although iRacing did help him a lot in his early racing career, I feel like it's kind of skewed to.
Yeah, that's what I was told
way.
too. Yeah, that's what I was told too. Like he was already racing before, but if you ask Rick Allen, he won this race on the computer. So that's his thing. That's his little saying. But yeah, I've heard the same thing as well.
Yeah, I've heard, that he was racing before, or he started racing on iRacing, but he was in a legend within however much time. I don't know the exact story, but obviously he didn't just hop from the computer to a K&N car and do really good right off the bat. That's just not realistic. But I think it is a legitimate platform to find talent and to find people that you could groom over time. And I think Ty is a great example of that. Although he's a little bit older, I believe he's 23 or 24. I think there's enough young kids on iRacing at this point to where if you think they're good enough when they're 15, 16 years old and you're a big race team trying to find talent for your developmental program, maybe it's an actual avenue to go and find talent rather than just going to random short tracks. And I think it's still definitely probably a lower tier of a way to find talent, but it's definitely on the up and coming scale, I guess you could say. It's definitely a more legitimate thing now, and it's definitely a route I'd like to take. My goal is to definitely become a professional stock car driver, and I've been working towards that for 5 years now, since I was 12 years old, and I think this has definitely opened up some doors for me, and I'm just gonna try and take this and run with it. So who knows where everything is gonna end up in a few years, but this past week has been pretty much life changing for me.
Well, I would say that about covers it. Where can fans find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at znovak15. You can follow me on Instagram. It is znov, Z-N-O-V, with, I believe it's 4 V's. Hold on, let me check. 3 V's. 3 V's.
There you go.
And also, you can follow my sim team, Lockdown Racing, on Facebook. It's just like it says, Lockdown Racing. And give that page a like. You'll get some updates on how my team runs. And obviously, everybody at Roush Fenway, and I'm sure everybody knows all of their social media ads and whatnot. But yeah, that's basically it. Just thanks you guys for letting me come on the show, and thanks everybody that supports iRacing and esports. I'm really, really excited to see how this progresses.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And once again, that was Zack Novak, the 2019 esports iRacing champion. Zack, appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you have a good one.
See ya.
Later.
Seeing that different perspective, man. That different perspective from, it's like, because I've noticed a lot on the TV shows, especially a lot of the older drivers and some of the older team members are so dismissive of iRacing, and it's like he flat out said it's not the same thing. It's different.
Like, they admit it. Like, I think everyone knows at this point that it's a simulator. Like we get it, but like at the same time though, it's like it takes a lot of skill and like a lot of time. He says what, like 20 hours a week or something like that, or
it seems like I think at a minimum.
Yes. Or a minimum of, I mean that's the bare minimum. So it's like you puts in way more work here. I mean, I don't know, guys.
It's not a video game. It's
it's a simulator.
It's like if it's not a video game like Heat 4 or something, like kind of like how like he puts in way more work per week than I think we probably put in like practicing per month with core.
Yeah, like we just started. Like we can't.
You got to learn your braking, your shifting points. It's a whole lot more than that. You got to learn how to do the setups on those cars. I mean, it's far from a game.
No, it's a entirely different beast, and respect to him, and also I mean even respect to the NASCAR Heat Pro League drivers too. I mean they put in a lot of work during the week as well. Just different types of game. Well, I mean different types of racing. The casual racing on NASCAR Heat compared to an actual simulator, which is not a video game on iRacing. So congrats to Zack, man.
You know who else puts in a lot of work too? Cup guys, like the guys that were at Talladega this past week.
That was a perfect segue. I gotta give you props for that.
I'm getting better at that segue game.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Talladega?
All right, so
it was cool because I was there on Sunday, but I could only watch 57 laps, and really nothing happened the entire time I was there. Except I did get to see the Earnhardt car. That was really cool. I did not expect Richard Childress to open it wide open, and
he's freaking
so
full throttle.
That was really cool.
Crazy.
Those cars sound so much better than what we had today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
it's not just empty nostalgia.
In person, those they sound way better.
Yeah, I don't usually agree with Nick Brumberg on Twitter, but like when he said like Dale Earnhardt's car is a reminder how much better NASCAR used to be, or like these race cars used to be. I'm like, yep. Like, yeah.
The cars at least, definitely.
Yeah, the cars at least. Yeah, the cars.
Yeah, my God. I was watching it with my grandpa, big time Earnhardt fan. And both of us were literally just like to zip TV up here, We're sitting in the garage. We're just like.
We were just in awe.
Like that. I probably look like I'm looking at Darian like that, but I was looking in awe. Man, it was, oh my gosh. I had chills. I had goosebumps on my arms watching that car when they showed it at full speed. And they stopped following it during the broadcast. Like, Danny, you're so lucky you got to see it, man. They stopped following it during the broadcast. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, Richard Childress went full speed. I'm like,
you couldn't have done it live. Like you couldn't have done it live, man. Like, come on.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
I didn't know they were going to do it, so I didn't get a good enough video of it. I got it like right as it was like in front of me and then going away. So I didn't know in time that he was going to do it.
And also
beautiful car though.
And also Eric Eastep was there too. He actually got interviewed on the big screen there too.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Eric when I was over there. So, but I'll see him. I'll see him in a few weeks.
Yeah. But as far as the race goes, man, the move to Monday, Sunday, like the only big highlight was Ryan Blaney, overbroke it entering pit road, and it's funny, he ends up winning the race too. And then William Byron gets a stage win too. So I'm like, as far as points wise, that was good for him, because him and Chad Knaus have been on this strategy all season where points are more important than getting that guaranteed win, that'll lock you in for the rest of the season. They rather just play it safe, points wise, which is a strategy you can go along with. I mean, I feel like it's very feasible. I mean, it's very flexible. And I don't know. I feel like next year, though, they're definitely going to maybe change it up a little bit. Maybe Knaus will have a little more trust in Byron to try some different things.
Have a little more trust. And I think that the Hendrick cars, if they can keep improving, keep that up. I think that next year, I think Byron will take that another big step. I think Knaus will go balls to the wall with him.
He should. Really, I mean, Byron, like it's weird. Like he's he's won like 4 poles this year. It's like he's so fast.
They're fast
qualifying and practice.
Well, yeah, they're fast qualifying practice, and I think they're faster than a lot of people can credit for in the races. But I think that you saw him winning. Won the stage there. And really, until they had the complete communication breakdown, it seemed like out there, and until the Chevy BS started up, that like the Hendrick cars showed speed. Elliott, even with a crashed car, showed speed. And I gotta say, man, I've been harping on this package this year. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm telling you, man, these plate ones,
super speedways, it's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Super speedways.
Yeah.
I will not go and say it's the best ever, like a lot of people are this week. I think, I like to wait for more time on these things. I'm trying not to be as knee-jerk anymore, but I will tell you what, man, best year of plate racing, in my opinion, this decade. And I think that that super speedway, gosh.
I know, it's hard. It's hard.
30 years of plates, and now I got to think super speedway, because apparently tapered spacers are something else.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, man. They're basically the same thing, but we have to get all technical.
Same thing, man.
Yeah.
But I sound like Tim Pool right now. But I will say that I think that was the best super speedway race of this decade. I will go that far to say that. From 2010 until now, I think that there's been a lot of good ones. There's been a lot of great ones. I think that is the only, I won't say only, all around race. If you just plug in just the race itself from lap 1 to lap 188 or 190 or whatever they went to, I can't remember. Apologies. I think that was the best flag to flag race ever. Not ever, like of this decade, I should say. I think it was better than the 2010 race. The 2011 finish was good, but the race before that was boring as hell. Yeah. I think that this is of the 20 Talladega races and 40 super speedway races of this decade, that is the first instant classic, in my opinion. Now I think that, you can nitpick at it a bit and say like, yeah, the wrecks might, the wreck fest and the demolition derby aspect, but that's sort of what super speedway racing has turned into with the Gen 6 car, especially since a lot of these veteran drivers that would usually lead the pack at plate races, or well, it was plate back then, so I can still say plate, but super speedway races like Jeff Gordon, like Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, even Carl Edwards, he was putting up, he wasn't putting up the great results, but he was still up front in a lot of those races. And so I think a lot of that etiquette that they used to have is kind of gone. I think that goes a long way, but that's sort of what the super speedway races have turned into. But man, that was fun. It was just so much fun to watch. It was so much fun to watch, man. I mean, I was in my class just like streaming it in the back of my classroom for my social media class, and I'm just like watching it. And then now here's the one thing, and
when Danny gets back, I will give him crap about this. Alex Bowman, what was he thinking there? I'm sorry, that was just a clown move there. What was Alex Bowman thinking? I mean, Alex Bowman got a huge run, and there was a ton of space, so obviously he's going to get passed because due to the draft. And it's like last second he goes up to block Logano, who's freaking charging full speed ahead.
Hey, maybe he couldn't see through the giant ass spoiler until too late.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Junior in the quote. Yeah, that's
giant
one of the
ass
other highlights.
spoiler.
Yeah, giant ass spoiler there. I couldn't believe you said that. That was funny. But back to Bowman. I don't understand what the deal was there. I mean, common sense goes a long way, and I don't want to be one of these couch, quote unquote couch drivers. Like, well, I would have done this and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
at the same time, it's like it is so freaking obvious that Logano had a full head of steam, and he was going to pass you. Like, it's stage 2. Like, you have plenty of time to get back up to the front.
4 to go, 3.5 to go. I mean, I would understand being desperate to block for a stage if it was like the former package, or if it was like the 2012 package, for instance. I would understand throwing that block for a points perspective. But when you look at this package, you can be shuffled back to 15th, and by the time 3 laps later, be up there battling for the lead again. So I think that was definitely a very short-sighted move, and I think it's the pressure of the cut line on him right now. I think he's feeling pressure just to go all out. In my opinion, he doesn't have the experience yet being up front at these races that it requires to be as aggressive as he was being and make it work. Somebody like Jeff Gordon or Dale Jr., like we talked about before, or even Tony Stewart too, they would be fine being that aggressive. They wouldn't have gotten themselves into that position. I think Kurt Busch wouldn't have gotten himself in the position. And we can debate on whether those crashes that were during the race were his fault or whatever. We can debate about that in a bit. But I think someone like Kurt Busch or even Logano, Keselowski, I don't think they get into that position. I think it was just a lack of experience and good equipment, and in being up front in these races. I mean, he's not a bad plate racer. I think he's actually a pretty good plate racer.
Needs a little more seasoning.
He needs to sort of chisel away, get all the rough edges off, kind of thing. But I don't think it's in any way criticizing him, is in any way ripping on Alex Bowman. I think Alex Bowman has proved his worth up there. It's just a matter of just getting in those positions. I think the coming years he'll be right up there with Logano and Keselowski and Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch is the most underrated person. I can't stop saying plate. Most underrated super speedway racer in the field, in my opinion. Same with my pick, Corey LaJoie, finished 7th.
Finished 7th. Good job. Good job, man.
I forgot what metric it was, but he's like the most efficient super speedway racer out there in 2019. And I was like, there's a method to my madness.
And also Austin Terrio, former podcast guest, was up front. He was inside the top 10 for a brief moment for Rick freaking Ware Racing too, nonetheless. I felt, that was a good job.
So bad when he got caught up in that crash. I was like, no.
And I'm getting to that right now. First off, Bubba Wallace turned into Natalie Decker there and didn't listen to a spotter. He did. I'm watching the freaking thing, and his spotter's outside, and then he just goes up to the outside of Blake freaking Jones, whoever that guy is. He made a couple of starts a couple of years ago, but dang, most fans don't know who Blake Jones is, and he just cuts off Blake Jones, and it's like, what are you doing? You're in the way back. You're not even in the main pack, and you're making these moves. Man, come on, bro. It gets hard defending. Man. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. I'm not gonna defend that. I'm a huge Bubba Wallace fan, but I'm definitely not gonna defend that. But
that was back DUM.
But here's the thing. As far as the broadcast goes, I don't know if anybody noticed. In those 2 crashes, Bubba's and also Logano's crash there, where he got turned into, we actually got to saw it live from their Hamlet cameras. Yeah, that's so rare. The last time that really happened was the last time I remember that happening was 2004, Kyle Busch in the NASCAR Busch Series at at Darlington. Like he was like running and then all of a sudden he just spins out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while. Like, I don't know. Like it was perfect. And, excellent timing. I know people give NBC a ton of crap for, missing these killer moments in the race, like battles for the lead and wrecks and all that stuff. But they were on point this weekend. I mean,
yeah, definitely. And that one crash, the way that the camera cut so quick, like on just the same view to Gaughan's blowover, I was like, man, that like I'll give it to him because I know there's been a lot of criticism thrown their way about like their production value and all that. But man, I'm telling you, NBC, in my opinion, it's on another level than Fox anymore. I remember I was talking with some of the guys. I was talking about some of the guys about this last night, and Fox has been doing the same stuff since the 90s, man. Like they've changed the graphics packages, but I mean, it's you look even in football, you look in baseball, it's the same stuff. Whereas NBC, they're trying to change stuff up. They're trying to think of new ways, and sometimes they fail. The radio
they take
kind
risk.
of style.
I like that. They take risk,
and I can respect that. I respect that as a fan. And I think you even see it off the track too. I mean, we're gonna get to the double yellow line fiasco a little bit later.
We go.
But you look at outside of it, and I didn't even realize that my video had the same basically premise as Dale Jr.'s argument, which great minds think alike apparently.
Yeah.
But you even look outside, and the Fox guys, Jeff Gordon this week. He was side and side with NASCAR. Yeah, Steve Letarte did too. But at the same time, you look at the NBC side, and Junior's just going straight out there and saying, this is stupid. This rule is stupid, NASCAR. And it's like NBC is giving the people behind the camera and in front of the camera so much more, giving them so much more room to be themselves, to make the broadcast something. Granted, they're doing a lot of the same things they've done for a long time, but at the same time, it feels different. It feels more fun. It feels more fun while still being professional, and that's what I like about it. And it made the race itself that much better. I've given it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, definitely, no doubt.
I can't remember. I don't think I gave Daytona a 10.
No, you gave it like an 8.
I gave it like an 8 or a 7. It was a good race, but every race with this super speedway package has been a flat out 10 out of 10 for me. Yes, the weather's been a problem. Yes, there's been cautions that have, ended it early, but man, I am so excited for Daytona next year.
It's going to be a
500 next year, man.
I know. I'm thinking
of a meetup there.
Yeah, we might have to do a meetup there, but let's see. Jake Bassinger. Like Danny's not here right now because he's hella sick, so he went outside. Right, yeah, but Jake, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says any plans for the future? #ModMe. I don't know. Like if it's what I think you're talking about, we'll wait and see. You know what it is.
Yeah, we got you. Darren and I already these plans and stuff, and it's like not even we know what stuff we're planning in our heads.
It's just we got so many ideas. But really quick, back to the race. I just want to say this: Brendan Gaughan, like I forgot how much of a personality he was, man.
I think he's my grandpa's new favorite driver anymore. Because we watched his interviews at Las Vegas, and it was so fun, man. And then I like what he's like. He's like, yeah, I got spun out by Stenhouse. Go figure.
Yeah, like go figure. Like I mean, here's the thing: like Brendan Gaughan, like I mean, he's from Las Vegas. He's he should have been a Truck Series champion, but Jimmy Smith had to go and kill that dream there. But that's a whole nother story and maybe a video sometime. But
Corvette Racing, really quick. Corvette Racing 48. Thanks for the $2.99. We'll take the phone for Danny right now. It says Monday's race currently the race of the year. For me, yes.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I think so. I think it tops the Kansas race for me.
And back to Brendan Gaughan. Brendan Gaughan was having such a terrific race there. It was consistently inside the top 10. Now he was going back and forth, and then the moment he had the
lead for a brief moment.
He took the lead, he gets flipped over, and that was one of the most gnarliest flips. And then did I just say gnarly? That's
gnarly, bro.
Okay, yeah, I was like so gnarly, bro. But I mean, that was just one of the most wackiest, craziest flips ever. I mean, I'll give it a 9.8 out of 10 on the landing for that because he was a little sideways, and that's what he said too. But I mean, afterwards, he's just full of adrenaline. He's like, woo! yeah, we just had a hell of a race there. Like, that's quintessential NASCAR. You know, go out, race for the win, get wrecked, and then laugh about it afterwards. And if you want to, you know, fight or run somebody's fade, then you can do that as well.
See, I hear you in the chat. Really quick, Danny sent us something. He's something from beyond the sick grave.
Breaking news. What is it?
I can't see.
You can't see. You can't see. I'm legally blind. I can't see.
Oh, geez. Oh, we probably shouldn't actually be as happy about this one because it's not happy news. The number 10 colleague racing hauler crashed.
What?
Yeah, dead serious.
Oh,
holy jeez.
Damn.
Hey, let me get on Twitter and I'll share screen it really quick.
Yeah, we'll share screen it. Yeah, this is legit breaking news, y'all. Like, it's no joke, but yeah, that's crazy. Like the last time,
God, man.
I've heard of like hauler incidents before. Like I remember the 44. What was it? Extreme Motorsports. Like remember their whole hauler and car got stolen, and then unfortunately the passing of I'm sorry. What was it?
I think this is it. Share screen.
I forgot the name, but
Darren, let me know. Can they see this?
Oh my gosh! Wait, hold on. Let me check.
Can they see this out on?
Yes, they can see it. They can see it. Oh my gosh!
I hope they're all right, man.
Oh my gosh!
Terrible.
Obviously, I hope everyone's okay. Number one. Number two. I mean, both cars in there are junked. Probably. Credit
for Karen Marinella, I think is how you say the name. Is on I-40 prayers for him. So yeah, definitely credit to her for the picture on here. But man, that sucks, especially after the news that came this week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But
such good news, and then followed up with this. Like I don't know.
It snapped trees like that. We'll keep you updated on that, and I think whether he's on or not, Danny and a few of other friends in here, they'll keep us updated, and we'll let you know if there's any updates before we get off tonight.
It's probably the curse of Ross Chastain. I'm sorry, just wherever he goes, there's always something. Always happens for a good driver. There's just always something that happens. I just have to put that out there. But obviously, hope everyone's okay. So
yeah. And let's go to a bit of a happier note really quick. I gotta refresh this because I want to see. I had to take off the chat to check on my phone with this stuff. But I need to share screen again because guess what we got?
The poll, and this is one of the greatest polls ever.
Yes, holy crap! I remember a few weeks ago I had said we got to hit 4,000. We got to hit 4,000 by the time we get for Talladega. Man, you guys came and it was insane.
4.5,
yeah,
and that is track record 4.5, and also
the previous record was 3.6 thousand.
Y'all skyrocketed.
Glen. And the thing is, it jumped up today. That's the thing. I think it's because I had two of my videos went like boom, like big time. They're just like more than 10,000 views in a day, and so a bunch of people were jumping on the channel and stuff, and I think that helped it out. But I'm looking at it, and I had the results to compare each other here. Mm-hmm. This is what I love about going to a track a second time is you can compare the first race and what people thought of that race to the second one. 77% of you thought that this was a great race. By far the record so far. The only two races in the 70% range were before this were the first Talladega race and Bristol for the night race. And those were only 70. So it blew it out of the water. New record. I don't think we're breaking that by the end of the year. Unless Martinsville is much better than the spring race was. And then good 15%. Well, obviously, but still that's a net positivity
of 92%.
I want to make sure I get this right. 92%, which I think is second all time, actually.
Oh, I thought that broke the record too.
I think there was one through here. Let me see.
For those who don't know, Jarrett keeps track of all of these things. And
I got all of it.
Yeah.
Bristol had a 93% net positivity, so just a hair smaller.
So close.
Again, the Bristol poll had just under 3,000 votes, so I think a lot more people thought this one was positive. 5% of you thought it was an average race. 1% of you thought it was a below average race, and for a long time that was sitting at 0%. That was unprecedented. We've never had a 0% in one of these columns. And then 2% of you guys thought it was bad. Only one race has had less people think it was bad percentage-wise, and that was the All-Star race.
Maybe from their perspective, they're either A, trolling, or B, they just don't like super speedway races because of all of the carnage. I understand that completely, but like that comes with super speedway racing. Like you're gonna have like some shit happen. Excuse my language. Excuse my lingo. I'm not on a cursing out. Oh, Danny's gonna be super happy. Read it.
I'll read this real quick. So I'll read it for you, Danny B. I'm taking it in for you. $20 super chat from Riff Dane. You're awesome, man. Danny is going to be so happy. I admit I voted bad in the Icebergs poll. Bit harsh, I guess. It becomes like a bad demolition derby to me. The sandbagger usually wins. Oh, well, wasn't that bad, I guess. Hopefully this donation makes a good peace offering. I'll say this. As long as it's an opinion that isn't like, and this is talking in general, as long as it's an opinion that's not like violent at somebody, or like inspiring something bad, say what you want. Do not feel ashamed of your opinion. It's your opinion, man. Like, it might not be.
This is America. You can say whatever you like. Just don't, be civil.
Let's keep it like this. I have a lot of views about NASCAR that I've said on here that are not popular views. It's just, just feel free to say them, man. I'll read through a few of them. Few of them won't agree. Few of them will. Let's see what opinions we have. Of course, IDK player.
Incarnation, of course.
NASCAR. Greatest of all time. Not joking on this. I genuinely believe it.
Read Miller's. He's a huge Ryan Newman fan because Newman almost won that race. Wait, hold on. Can I read it?
If you want.
Let me read it. Okay, all right. Just
don't read it in the voice. Just read it normal.
I am so freaking angry. Newman had that race won. Ugh.
No, it's more
not it's
Nice.
However, I am not going to blatantly
be partisan.
Sorry. Thank you. Blatantly partisan and say that this was the worst Talladega race ever because it was ages from that. Today confirmed why tracks like Daytona and Talladega are my favorite tracks on the schedule because because no other track can provide us with the kind of thrilling pack racing that we see at these tracks. Yeah, I mean, he's got a point.
That.
He's got a point there. Yeah, I respect it. I respect it, dude. I mean, like, because there are some fans that would just be like, oh, my favorite driver doesn't win or didn't run well. Bad race.
I can tell you as a Dale Jr. fan that there's been plenty of great races that I hated until much later because I was so biased. So I have much respect there, man.
Yeah, respect.
DC Commons Racing, man, wow. This is awesome. He put the Emancipation Proclamation in the chat. Oh, and Blaney won. Yeah. So for all of you, if you want a history lesson on that speech, there you go. That one, I had to put. There's one a week, whether it's like the B movie script or something, where I have to put it in the chat and show.
I'll put something. I'll put like lyrics to like a rap song or something like that next time.
Okay. Going down. Let's go down. Ooh, Barracuda. Let's see. Yeah, there's what Riffs was. I'll admit it. I voted bad, even though my guy won.
Oh, blame that.
I'm worn out in the style of racing. It's like a bad demolition derby. The sandbagger always wins.
He's got a point,
and I don't like that anymore. Sue me. I'll give you just as much respect as I gave Ian. Your driver won. You still thought it was a bad race. Much respect there because I think that shows a very objective take. So I that, man. I respect that. I disagree with you mostly, but I understand where you're coming from, and I do think it's a good point that it is a bit of a demolition derby. I think that's more the drivers at this point than the package.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look back at the 2001 package and 2000 package, and a lot of those races, it wasn't like the 2000 Winston 500 opened up with like 110 lap green flag run. And they didn't have a big crash until after the race.
That's insane.
I think it's at this point it's more a lot of inexperienced drivers and a lot of drivers who might be a little in over their head at this point. Let's scroll down. There's a ton of
lot of comments. Man. Well, you broke the track record, so Runnings Racing, that was fantastic. I'll take races for 500, Alex. Or favorite races for 500. Yeah,
he's a long time viewer. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Dead Viking. Trust me, a few weeks ago, that's what I was.
They were dead.
Like.
This
was actually exciting. Sucks we got to go to Kansas. Well, I mean,
Kansas is all right.
Well, I'll actually be in Kansas this week. So hopefully, if any of you guys have watched with my iceberg shirt, I'll be wearing that on race day and probably this hat. So you can keep an eye out for me there. Just a little shameless plug. Yeah. Let's see. Ultimate Dragon, glad Blaney won, but perplexed, but honestly really shouldn't be because it's NASCAR. That Newman wasn't penalized for forcing Blaney under the yellow line.
Oh, come on.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
since that was the stunt NASCAR pulled to screw Johnny Sauter. Again, hint, Herbst was never below. Sauter was Sauter on the last straightaway. NASCAR showing its bias against Sauter again this year, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I thought it was just this. I'm sorry, but that does bring a lot. Oh geez, Danny put something in the chat. I'll read that really quick. But it does bring something up. What I do want to talk about the stupidity of the double yellow line rule.
It's so dumb,
and the excuse that people use or that NASCAR has used to manipulate the end of races. I mean, even Dale Jr. railed against this on the Dale Jr. download. I have the same basically argument as him, but I will go a little less professional and a little harder on it. But I agree that it's a dumb rule. And
wait, hold up. Go scroll up. I just saw the greatest comment of all time. You might have seen it, but someone put keep go up a little bit. Go up. Okay, stop. Andrew, just read it.
Good evening, Twitter. This is your boy EDP. And oh Jesus!
It's that, yeah.
I didn't know it was that one.
I thought that's one of his greatest ones. I love this chat.
Yeah, I do too. Let's go to a few more. Shotman the Bowman says, with the exception of Bowman oofing himself, it was a fantastic race. Lots of action, lots of carnage, and a great finish. 145 out of 10. Would watch again.
And you can watch it again. They'll probably
y'all are brutal to the people who disagree with you. Let's turn this into a friggin' regime.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the bottom.
Yeah, all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. Dan, this is, oh my gosh, so many comments. Jeez.
Nope.
There we go.
Let's see. Curse you,
Stenhouse. Yeah.
That's how I read it the first time I saw it.
What a fitting comment.
Yeah, and then also, if anyone was curious, oh geez, there's so many comments. It's just getting hard to scroll. That's the Winston Cup Points.
Oh, so Kyle Busch he's been off lately. Really,
it's not popping up for me. Oh, there's a lot of people live right now. Yeah, it's not popping up for some reason because of the new YouTube update. But thank you guys so much for voting in the poll. Holy crap! Let's see if we can get a race this year. It's probably not going to be Kansas or Martinsville because they're lower watched races. Let's see if we can build up, get to 5K by the end of the year. Let's keep it up. I can't wait. I love how much this has grown. The first poll had 924 votes. That was at Bristol, the first Bristol race this year. So to go up this much, to basically improve by 3.6 thousand votes, that's awesome. You guys are awesome. And then Danny put in the chat real quick. I have the chat on my phone right here. So if you see me looking down, I'm not sitting there texting somebody. I'm not making plans. I am working. Danny puts, Jarrett, if they're giving rain when you're there at all, it's almost guaranteed that Bowman wins. Yes, I was at Bowman's first win. They were projecting rain, but now it looks like it's gonna be overcast, 70 with sunshine towards the end of the race, hopefully. So looks like it's gonna be really good racing weather. I can't wait. I guess we're at the 8:13 mark. I guess we can go into the rest of the Talladega stuff in a bit, but Darian, what time do you think it is?
Oh, it is time for the lightning challenge or lightning round, boy.
You got one job with this segment, man. And you got job.
I've been playing with NASCAR Thunder. I've been playing so much NASCAR Thunder, I completely screwed it up. I'm sorry.
Jeez, you got one job, man. Jesus. All right.
Lightning challenge. No, it's a lightning round. Lightning round.
We got another meme. I love how when you screw up, it turns into a meme. When I screw up, I just keep going like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Did I point out your screw ups? Because
all the time. because they're fun.
I like having fun.
Yeah.
Corey LaJoy, he says the new car is badass. So I trust Corey. That is the dude who does not sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah, I trust him too. Yeah, I definitely. I'll take his word for it there.
Hopefully, I see him there this weekend. If I do, I'm gonna. I'll ask. Well, I got to listen to his podcast a little bit, but I'll ask just one-on-one what he thinks. Obviously, like the drivers can't tell, so like I'm not going to know anything about that. But anyway. On a less positive note, NASCAR is ending race view and doesn't seem to say that they want to make a substitute for it. So I'm really hoping that they up the streaming because.
Well, it seems they're putting they're putting way more of an emphasis in like their live streaming things, because when you go on the app and and also on NASCAR.com on your desktop, like, you can see the races and stuff. You can even listen to the radio, and I mean, you can see different camera angles they give you and stuff. So they're putting more of an emphasis on that. But dude, Race View, I remember back in 2004 when they were promoting that. Like, it's been around for so many years, and they're just gonna get rid of it. Like, it's crazy. So that sucks.
Another thing, Jagger Jones, friend of the channel, friend of ours, got his first win. Congratulations, man. That's an awesome deal. I know how much it was eating at him that not getting that first win. So that is, finally getting it. Congratulations, man. And I think it had a little bit of controversy, didn't it?
Maybe bumped someone out
earlier in the race.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't watch the race, but I mean,
maybe we should ask Streamville.
Yeah, we should have Streamville since he's a Haley
Streamville.
Yeah, Streamville.
So
what happened?
Basically, earlier in the race, he got into Haley Deegan, and Haley Deegan spun.
Well, okay, so
Haley Deegan finished second to him. Live by the sword, die by the sword. But Jagger Jones it should get all the credit here. Should get all the spotlight.
Yeah, Jagger Jones. He's the man. That's the man right there. I watched his little brother Jace Jones was out at the bull ring. Doing that, racing in the late model. So it was cool.
More positive news. Eric McClure is not in the Road to Recovery program, but is on the road to recovery right now from some serious health issues he had. He had a lung infection. So glad to hear that. Best of luck to Eric on that one.
Yeah.
And then we got two more things here. Both are really positive. One's really positive for me. I'm saving the best for last year. But Brendan Gaughan is going to be running the 2020 Daytona 500. If he doesn't win, or he doesn't get a top 5 finish and get interviewed, he better flip and wreck. Someone better flip and wreck him. I'm quoting Sloppy Joe here because I want to see more interviews with him. That dude is one of the most fun interviews. He makes Clint Boyer look like boring as hell.
If he doesn't do any interviews like with anybody else on TV, if we go, let's go interview him ourselves. We need to get him on the podcast, especially after the race too. Like,
let's do it.
He's from Las Vegas.
Yeah, isn't he from Vegas?
Yeah, his dad owns the South Point.
Get on it, hometown hero.
I'll get on it. I'll see what's happening.
And then this one I like because I'm planning on going to Martinsville next year. It's announced on Facebook, and I saw it on Reddit. Nobody put anything saying it isn't supposed to happen.
Say it.
Looking like the plan is for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to run the Xfinity race at Homestead next year, and the one that I'll be at Martinsville on Hallows Eve.
Oh, that's perfect, man. I could see him winning the Martinsville race.
I could
based off of experience. I don't know who else is going to be racing there, but Xfinity back at Martinsville, and then also you have Junior. Yeah, I know. And also you have Junior back inside his own Xfinity car. So you love to see it, man. It's super great.
You love to see it.
You love to see it.
I'm happy, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
And it's on Jared's birthday too, nonetheless.
Well,
so that's
the day before. But
the day before.
It's my weekend. That's my weekend, and I'm planning on having my whole family going down there for that one if everything can turn out right. So, man, that would be awesome to happen in person and be able to see Dale Jr. win in person again. Let's hope. But honest to God,
I've never seen it.
5. I'm just hoping for a top 5. Just be competitive. That's what I just want to see my favorite driver be competitive.
Dude, I've never.
Races, awesome.
The closest I've ever seen Junior come to winning in person was 2014 Las Vegas. Had the lead on the final lap, then sputters on gas, and I was just like, "What happened? Like, it was so close." But childhood memories right there.
Anyway, that was the lightning round.
Not challenge. This isn't NASCAR Thunder. This is the lightning chip. No, I'm just playing. This is the lightning round. That was the lightning round. And now back to the show.
Yes, and like you said, Blue Jimmy 48 fan, 131 of you all watching. lick that like button. We only got 50 likes. Let's get to 100 likes on this thing, man.
Yeah,
Come
I was
on.
about to say it too. Like we haven't had,
Lick
like I was about to say it, but
like button. You better. Anyway, getting back to a little bit more Talladega stuff really quick. They had the ratings for it coming out, 1.54 million viewers. I think that's one of the highest rated Monday races NBC's had in a while.
That's not bad. Yeah,
it's not bad, but I wish we would have been able to see what they could have done on race day. Man, we got some news this week. We got some. What's in the news?
What's in the news? Jared,
I think we should go into the double yellow line controversy.
Man, wait, let me go off really quick. This is a stupid rule. The yellow line rule is, look, I get it. It's for safety and all this stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. And I understood, its purpose, after Dale Earnhardt's, fatal crash in 2001. I understood that. But at the same time, NASCAR has just been so terrible with officiating it. Maybe I could tolerate it if it wasn't for all of these bad calls. Like 2003, 2003, Aaron's 499. Junior should not have won that race. He should have been penalized. And I'm a Dale Jr. fan. I grew up a Dale Jr. fan my whole life. He should have not won that race. 2008, Tony Stewart should have been penalized. And Regan Smith should have been handed that victory. Let me go back a bit. 2006, Carl Edwards gets freaking penalized for avoiding a wreck there. And he went below the line.
The Regan Smith deal. Regan Smith went under there because Tony Stewart forced him down, and basically what Smith did was, in my opinion, responsible and would have gotten him to win. I think that was, obviously going for the win, but I think it was also responsible of not crashing Tony Stewart in front of the whole field. You look at the very next race at Talladega.
It led to it.
You had that problem. You have the same problem with 2009 Daytona 500. I mean, from Dale Jr.'s account, which again, he might have potentially wrecked Brian Vickers there too, but he also was trying to avoid the grass and get back up onto the track too, and that happened. Take that situation how you will. You look at the stuff with Johnny Sauter, which based on the rule they laid out,
NASCAR, NASCAR is entertainment. They just go on a win with deciding these calls. So, but shout out to Spencer Boyd, though. It's good to see him.
I'm just happy to see Spencer Boyd win. I don't get me wrong, my grandpa, is something based on the rule is technically the right call, but I hate it. But my grandpa and I, man, we were both like, well, screw this rule. One screw. Let's just say that. That's not our choice of word.
But
I'm telling you, man, I'm sick of this rule. I'm sick of it. It takes away from every race that we have that goes the distance anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Justin Haley, same damn problem. I'm
it's
sick of this
what's
rule.
the point of having this rule anyways? It's these are super speedway tracks. You're gonna have carnage going on.
And
so
I hate a lot of the people defending it. I hate a lot of their solutions too, because a lot of their solutions are just asinine in my opinion.
What are they? What are those solutions?
Some of them, the one I've been seeing floated around on Twitter a lot, which again, I'm taking something from Twitter. It's not the greatest one. I know NASCAR isn't looking at that as their way to go, but some are put rumble strips on the bottom on the yellow line so they can't go under there. Okay. You do realize that a lot of slow cars and cars coming out of pit road need the apron. You big dummy. Come on, Bill Weber, you big dummy. And then so others are like, well, why don't we just have grass go all the way up to the yellow line?
No.
Again, we need an apron.
Oh, you can't. No, I did not say rumble strips.
But I'm done. I don't understand. We don't need this rule anymore. We don't need it. The whole safety rule. We've had just as many problems with safety because of the yellow line rule than with it removed. Let the drivers deal with them themselves, however they may. If somebody screws up and crashes half the field,
have the drivers.
Everyone's going to be after that guy.
If
Ricky Stenhouse or Clint Boyer decides, hey, I'm going to go down the apron going into 3,
and I'm going to turn up the track and wreck,
and they crash
all
20 people. I'll tell you what, at least one or two of those people is going to chase after them after that race. It's a self. It's if there's pavement, you should be able to have the option to race it. Now I know they got rid of a lot of the grass down in the infield and the backstretch and stuff, so maybe people go all the way down there. But in my opinion, this should have been taken out years ago. The Carl Edwards deal with Brad Keselowski, in my opinion, should have been the last straw. We've been saying this argument so long. The majority of the fans want it this way. there's big names like Dale Jr. now that are and it was, what was the thing? What's his name? Was it something? Matt? Was it Dillner? The one on Dale Jr.'s podcast.
I don't know his name. Dang it!
I know, but Dillner. He said this about something nobody else is looking at with the Johnny Sauter deal. Had Johnny Sauter done that with 6 laps to go, that's not a penalty in NASCAR's eyes. It was only because it was on the last lap. So you literally have rules changing for the last lap. Now, I understand an overtime rule. Every sport, I mean, you look at the NFL, they have a different way to do overtime with their games. But I don't think you can be changing the rules on a scheduled distance too, because it's the last lap. It's like, well, I mean, he blocked him down there on the last lap, so it's a penalty here. This whole situation is stupid. I think Johnny Sauter should have had the win of that race because this rule shouldn't be in existence, in my opinion. I think it was an overreaction. I think it is something that is going to be a self-policing rule if you get rid of it. So, in my opinion, scrap the yellow line rule. I think in this regard, going backwards is going forwards. So,
I'm sick of talking about it.
Well, really quick, Riff Dane put a $5 super chat in here. If NASCAR insists on the yellow line rule, apply it to 1.5 and 2 mile tracks too with this new package, yes, including Darlington. See, again, I think it's a safety deal is what they're saying, but I don't know, man.
I'm so sick and tired of talking about this rule, man. It's like I don't understand this. Like NASCAR, they're going for entertainment instead of pure racing. If you want to see pure racing, watch F1. And I know that can be a little bit boring sometimes, but NASCAR's in the entertainment industry now.
You don't have to sacrifice racing product for entertainment, though.
Yeah, I know.
Good racing in and of itself is great entertainment.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm so confused. Like NASCAR's going for this whole entertainment deal. Why do they still have this rule? Well, I mean, obviously, without the yellow line, it would be way more entertaining. A lot more.
I'm telling you, here's my wild theory. What's going to happen? It's going to completely backfire and all this stuff. NASCAR put Daytona in the middle of hurricane season. It's going to rain out Daytona and turn Daytona into the season finale. The season finale is going to go. The final 4 drivers going to be up front on a final restart at Daytona, and then the pass for the championship is going to be a below the yellow line pass, and you're going to wait 5 minutes to find out who your actual champion is before they get it stripped from them because they went under the yellow line.
Entertainment.
Don't tell me you couldn't see something that crazy happening in NASCAR anymore.
No, I could.
With how much stuff backfires. I mean, if Montoya can find a jet dryer,
anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I'm telling you what, if that happens, we're going to go back to this podcast, and that's going to be the opening for the season finale next year. Because, lol cow. But in all seriousness, this rule, it had good intentions. I will not say it didn't. But, I mean, you look at what we have. You even look at, like someone pointed out in my comment section today, the drivers have less space on the track because of the safer barrier.
More congested.
I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it is. What I find funny about, you have less space. Go down there. If the drivers screw it up, that's on them. But the likelihood that, how do I put this? The likelihood that we're going to have another giant in the fence crash like we did before, I think is low. Again, people are like, you don't want to play with that. But at the same time, you see all this stuff they put in place. You see that every time this yellow line problem happens and someone goes under there, nobody ends up crashed.
Yeah.
And you look back at some of these instances. I love that Jeff Gordon, of all people, is the one that's ragging against the fans about this one. It's like, sir, go back on YouTube really quick and look how you won the Daytona 500 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, it's like you did the exact same thing. You almost did a lap car though, but
And if you look at that clip, that is drivers that's smart driving, because look at that lap car and you see that at the last second he looks in the mirror and he goes, oh geez, Jeff Gordon is going to Kevin LePage me, and he turns down.
Yeah, it turns down, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those deals. And real quick, another $5 super chat for Danny. Yep. I'm reading Danny's super chats. Maybe this will be good for me for my stream tomorrow. Says 499 super chat says, could you imagine if that guy going below the yellow line was Chase Elliott?
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Imagine the guy winning is like Kyle Busch or Joey. Like,
oh no, fans are gonna call for the rule to be gone. Yeah, they're gonna certainly be calling it for it to be gone at that point. So. Anyways, where is Danny? I miss him. I miss Danny, man. Come back to us, Danny. Come back on the stream. Man.
Danny's gonna come back. Just be like, all right, we're done.
I still need to roast him for the whole Alex Bowman thing.
Maybe that's why he came off.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, maybe that's why.
Anyway, we got plenty more to talk about, and we have taken up a lot of time. But I think they might know where we stand on this one.
Get rid of it. It friggin' sucks. We hate it. And sorry if I blew your ears, Jarrett, but. I don't know.
No, you didn't. You put your mic levels good, at least for mine.
Okay.
So I guess we can talk about colleague racing now after what happened. But they're expanding to 2 cars, and they signed Ross Chastain. And
then they wrecked the hauler. I don't know. I feel like we were going to talk about that, but now I'm kind of down.
We kind of already did, but
yeah. It's
I don't know, chat. You guys can let us know. Is there any updates on that one?
Is there any updates? Is everyone okay? And how are the cars and that sort of thing?
The cars are the last thing in this.
But as far as Chastain's career goes, I mean, he had the option. He's back.
All right, go about Chastain.
Yeah, but anyways, Chastain. Hi, Danny. Chastain, this is good for his career. It's about to be championship season's Ross Chastain 2020, I think. I definitely thought it would have been championship season's Ross Chastain 2019 this year in the 42, but we all know what happens with that. The thing is, he also was very loyal too. Like, he had the option to go into full-time in the Cup Series, which, I mean, he is right now basically full-time in the Cup Series for Premium Motorsports, but, I mean, with a better team, JTG, their ride was open. Their 37 ride was open, which we'll get to in a moment here. But he already had an agreement in principle to race for him full-time next year. So, I mean, shout out to him being loyal. And, I mean, and honestly, I've said this before, in sports, loyalty rarely, leads to victories. I mean, just look at, all other sports and stuff. But in this case, this might be the exception. So congrats to Ross Chastain, and hopefully Colleague Racing and their team have everything figured out.
Okay, there's a update. I'm going to read it off. I'm going to share a screen so everybody can see it. It's on the official Colleague Racing Twitter page. So, a statement from the team. While on the way to Kansas Speedway, the number 10 Colleague Racing transporter was involved in an unfortunate incident along I-40. Both our hauler drivers are alert and have been transported to the hospital for further evaluation. As planned, our team will field 2 entries and compete for the win.
Nice.
So good news there that they're alert. We'll find out probably the injuries later in the week when everything is.
Good. That's a relief.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I'll admit I was kind of worried there. I was like, man, that would suck. So I guess we can sort of move a little bit to another story that a lot of people are wanting us to talk about.
I just got a question really quick. Danny, you weren't here when we were talking about the race. What's up with your boy, man? What's up with Bowman? Why was he so bad? Why was he a clown there? What's up with him?
He just wanted to win.
Well, he wanted to win stage 2. We didn't want to win the whole race, obviously. He just wanted to win stage 2 there. It seemed like
he'll do better at Kansas.
Nah, I don't know.
Watch he blows up in the first lap.
Yeah, watch him just blow up on the first lap there.
No, he probably will, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about. Let's go from injuries in a crash to death of birds.
What the heck? I don't know what's happening. Yeah. So in case y'all didn't hear,
go ahead. Movie in Charlotte.
Yeah, basically what it is that. Birds have been see, the same thing happened to the Vikings Stadium too, because of so much glass on the outside. Birds have been flying into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and basically it's basically just a mass suicide right now. Basically what it is they see inside of it, there's lights on and stuff. And from what I saw from some people that were like actual bird experts, is like what they're saying is basically that's almost a trigger to them, that it's like that's daylight to go towards that, I guess, or something like that. And so these birds are sort of almost being tricked, I think we've all had it before where we had that one like crazy senile bird just start like running into the window because they're fighting themselves.
So basically, when they shut down NASCAR Hall of Fame, turn the lights off.
Let me
so
see.
basically, NASCAR killed birds.
I'll find a picture of it. It's the birds.
Yeah. And
really quick for 1 second, I want to share screen with this really quick because I'm proud of this.
What?
It's weird how it wasn't just like a couple birds; it was literally hundreds of birds.
Eric was on the ISM fan vision. He's like, can you find a picture of me where I didn't look half asleep? And I found one.
Got it right there. We're getting bug-eyed right there. Jeez.
Anyway, yeah, I guess he's according to Sterling Marlin, he'd be pulling a Greg Biffle there. Let me find it. I just put bird NASCAR. Let me see if I can find. Jesus, and it's on TMZ. It's on
TMZ. Damn, it was big enough to make TMZ there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, come on, NASCAR Hall of Fame. What are you doing? Turn off the lights,
When you decimate the population of birds in a city. All right, I'll show you guys. This is what the remnants look like.
God.
TMZ is a crappy website that won't load up very well, but
what's the death toll listed at?
I think it was a few hundred.
Jeez.
Hundreds of birds launched themselves into the side of the NASCAR Hall of Fame on Tuesday night, killing themselves. And the surreal scene was all caught on video. Ooh, there's video?
Yeah.
There was a video.
I do feel bad for the bird.
Now,
I feel bad for
supposedly not all of them died. Like, apparently
they saved some.
The Charlotte Wildlife Rescue Association was able to save at least 100, so that's good.
There was one where this lady's taking a video watching a bird like nearby it, and you just see the bird go like this and then fly in the window, and it literally just goes like this. This is the glass. It just slides down.
It just slides
glass
down
like a comedy.
And it's still like flapping its wings until it gets to the bottom. It's just like,
and then it just like gives up.
It's just like, I'm done. And then like in the video I saw on Twitter, like this one lady was like, this is what happens when the world's coming to an end. This is a sign. I'm like, yep.
I think this is it. 1 second. I'm gonna. Are you able to hear it if I share screen?
I think so. Let's try it. We're testing some things out live on stream. Let's try it.
We don't know what Zoom is capable of, but we're gonna go for it.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right.
Play it.
So I want to see. Can the stream see it well?
Yes,
it says 400,000 views.
Yes. Now they can see it.
Oh my god. Anyway.
No, I can't hear it.
Okay.
But you don't need to.
Yeah, there's a whole flock of birds. I feel bad for the birds. Yeah, watch. She'll start following. Oh my god, that's horrible.
It's so horrible.
Many. And it's on the other side too. It's not just right there.
Yeah, it's all around the building.
Oh, it's all around the building. It just gave up. Oh damn! I don't want to laugh, but Jesus Christ, that's horrible. That's awful.
This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And why would it happen at the NASCAR Hall of Fame of all places?
I don't know. So I don't. And then some landed all the way. Like they hit the freaking windows so hard they landed all the way on the other side. They bounced off and landed on the other side. Jesus Christ.
I do feel bad for them. I do, because it's sad seeing innocent animals like that. Yeah. But at the same time, it's one of those deals where it's like, I don't know why, but the first thing I thought of was that scene in Empire Strikes Back where it's like, I feel like I can take on the whole empire today. And then in Family Guy, it's like he flies up and gets shot. That's those birds. I feel like I can take on all of NASCAR today.
And just...
We've had them at my car dealership. They've hit the glass windows there too. Because if you ever see a Toyota dealership, like it's kind of the same style building, just a bunch of big giant glass windows. Yeah, it happens all the time.
I love one of these comments. Fish Productions put it shouldn't be funny, but it is.
I know I can't. Blue Jimmy.
48.
Oh no.
$2, and he just got massive PTSD. Thanks.
Oh yeah, that's right. Angry Birds. Angry Birds.
Angry Birds IRL doesn't work as well.
Yeah. But anyways, I might have to make a Gone Too Soon video on those birds.
Dude, if you do it.
I should do it. No, I should do it. Gone Too Soon, Charlotte Birds or whatever.
It's like the Charlotte Birds had 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s,
and about 300, and also had like 300 deaths. on their way. Jeez.
The NASCAR Hall of Fame's the ultimate camper.
Yes. No. One last thing though. I guarantee you, watch like someone like protest like on Twitter or like Instagram or in person. Like it's NASCAR Hall of Fame's fault. You guys don't care about birds and all. Like it's like
I hope those tree huggers.
Bro, 50.
Whoa.
Smoke. What's up?
Smoke.
He said no balls, Darian. I'll do it. No, I think I'll
do it.
Do it. I gotta do it now.
By the way, though, Smoke, thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was awesome, man.
Yeah, it's happening, bro. Smoke's always and by the way, Smoke's event, the Breast Cancer Awareness 500 was awesome too. So
yeah, go watch the replay of that. It was really entertaining.
Smoke,
yeah,
I wish I could have been in it.
Smoke is like my new #1 fan. I think the last time he gave him 100. Now he's giving.
No, bro, he gives Joseph those $50, IDK $50. Like he spreads his money out, man. He's got a ton of it.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Friggin' money bags over here. Oh, and as I'm saying, DC Comics says the same thing. But anyways, those birds DNF'd 300 DNFs. Go ahead.
So this is something that happened over the weekend. We got a little bit of it before, but they said they were talking about Corvettes as a joke. But Corey LaJoie also says that Chevrolet threatened to give teams loss of company vehicles and sim time if they pushed another manufacturer to the line. So, guys,
man,
how out of hand do we have to get before NASCAR steps in?
Man, that is so unnecessary. It's like, if you keep this up, drivers are going to do dumbass moves to, they're going to do dumb things.
I was all with Radman on Twitter. He was put on Twitter that, this is what you idiots deserve at Chevy. Like, can you the fact that people are literally getting, and it's a lot of these younger drivers too, because I think they still I guarantee a Dale Jr., a Tony Stewart, a Jeff Gordon would be like.
But here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing though. Like, if I'm one of those drivers, it's like, who cares? I can just go on iRacing. It's just as good. Like, who cares about a company simulator? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's just as in depth, if not better. But still,
it probably is more in depth. They probably test new stuff. It probably does give it is a big deal. But it's one of those things where it's like, man, I don't want NASCAR to step in, but I think in this regard they need to be like, hey. But at this time, I think at this point the manufacturers have NASCAR by the balls. Because they can leave if they want. NASCAR needs the manufacturers anymore more than the manufacturers need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, if this continues, you're going to see drivers making dumbass moves, dumbass blocks, Bowman, and all this stuff, happening. I had to put that in there. Like, I mean, we're about to see all this stuff, like stupid nonsense, just take place because I'm going to get in trouble, by my manufacturers if I push this guy to victory. I mean, it's the same thing with the locking bumpers rule. Here.
It's like Hendrick Chase says in the chat. He says, "Yeah, let's make it harder to win next time." Like, you guys, that's stupid.
It's dumb. It's like, who cares? Just go for the win, man. Who cares about this? And also, Carl Singleton, thank you for the $2 super chat, boy. Danny, read that off.
Appreciate it, Carl. NASCAR should have an every man for himself rule. I'm
yes,
for that.
Yes, I'm all for it too. It's not F1.
Wait a minute. Technically, this rule with all you have to drop back and stuff, shouldn't that go against the 100% rule?
Yes, it should. It should go against the 100% rule.
So don't get me wrong. Like, they ditched that later on. Everyone was just like, "Screw you, I'm going home." But I can fit South Park reference anywhere I want. Anyway, I guess we can go to a little more news. This one really we don't have to elaborate on. Clint Boyer, he signed with SHR for 2020.
Dude. I don't know what's happening here. I'm so confused.
I thought he was gone, honestly.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. Like, here's the thing. I have to give Clint Boyer his props. He's performing well in the playoffs. In the regular season, wasn't quite, but, he does have a shot to advance to the round of 8. So props to him for that. But at the same time, Cole Custer is ready. He's waiting in the wings. He has 6 or 7 – he has 7 wins this season in Xfinity. Like – sorry, but
Hendrick go over there. Johnson announces retirement. He just in 2020, he just walks over. He goes, "I'm gonna take you over here."
I'm sorry, like I know there's the rumors going around that Custer he's gonna be in the 32, but I'm sorry if I'm Stewart-Haas Racing, I want him in either the 14 or the 41. I'm sorry, man. Like Boyer, I think you've been good, but we got to move on. We got to move towards the future. Tyler Reddick's moving up. Christopher Bell's moving up. It is time for the big three to be complete from the Xfinity Series and move him up, Cole Custer, into one of those Stewart-Haas rides.
32 car.
Yeah, 32. But like at the same time, though, there's going to be some sort of alliance probably. I get that. But I would like to see him in a full-fledged Stewart-Haas racing car and see what he can do. Give him a shot. Because for years, they were saying, oh, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's finally ready now. Give him his shot. And it's like, no, we're going to sign Clint Boyer and we're going to move him over.
Another thing that came up also is Stenhouse going to JTG. What is it, Darren?
Daughtry, not
There you
Dottie.
go. Yeah. He's going there. So it's basically a driver swap.
It's basically a driver swap.
The thing that, I don't know if they flat out did say it was the 37 or not, but the thing I was wondering is like, it didn't look like from any of the reports they specified a number. Maybe they're doing something where it's like he shows up and they put him in the 47 team and Priest in the 37. I don't know what the deal would be, but I mean, honestly, the 37, if Stenhouse is in the top 20 driver, it's him.
Yeah, and I alluded to this on Twitter. Stenhouse is going to come into 2020 guns a-blazing with that giant chip on his shoulder, left from Roush Racing, the way he left, the way he's going to leave that team because he's still racing for them, the way that whole situation went down. It's the second year with the Hendrick Motorsports Alliance for JTG. And also, I mean, a change of scenery is good. It can be good sometimes. You know what I mean? Just, in general, a change of scenery is good. So maybe this is what he needs. And also, you have to remember in this format, all Stenhouse has to do is just win a super speedway race. And he's in. That's all he has to do.
Danny, man, you're popular.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Corvette Racing 48 gave $9.99 SHR. Needs to give Custer the 41 next year. We would also have an intense rookie battle. I would like to see him in that 41. It only makes sense because that's the one actually carries the Haas sponsorship, which has been with him all his career.
Let's give Suarez one more chance, though. I
don't know, man. I think 3 years is like it still hasn't really I don't know.
It could be a late bloomer, a very late bloomer. And I know I was hard on him to begin the season and, last year too. But I don't know. There's something about Suarez, man. The sport needs him to succeed to sort of tap into that international market.
I think anymore, if you're not how old is Suarez?
He's 28, 27.
This is somebody in this day and age going from a back marker, in equipment that is better than he should be running in. Because people will say, well, maybe he's like Truex. And it's no, Truex, look at Truex. He ran an MWR and DEI equipment, before
DEI past its prime.
DEI, and MWR, which was only good for maybe a year or two.
Yeah, until they off themselves, basically.
But then you look and you get to put in a good situation and he wins. Suarez is the inverse Truex. Suarez has been put in the situation where he has had a great ride. Basically, granted, he was kind of forced in early, but still a great ride handed to him.
Yeah.
With Carl Edwards retiring from that 19 car. He goes to another team that with Kurt Busch was a top 8 team. That was up there competing.
And they don't make the playoffs.
Run the same way.
Yeah,
he doesn't make the playoffs. He's the Kirk Cousins of the end of NASCAR.
When you don't make a 16 driver playoff system, that is your fault. Honestly,
I was really hoping that the change of teams would be exactly what he needed because we've seen it work. It worked with his teammate Eric Almirola when he came over. But in this case, though, it
worked with Clint Boyer too. Boyer.
It worked with him.
Didn't work right away, but he still won 2 races.
But here's my biggest thing, especially last year, he called it and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in the playoffs," and he wasn't. And I'm pretty sure that was a big thing getting him out of that car.
He was close, but not close enough. It's a shame too. Then
you have drivers like William Byron and Alex Bowman who have made the playoffs.
Like that, and lesser equipment too, because I'm quite sure Hendrick they're definitely not better than Stewart-Haas is right now.
Or Joe Gibbs for that matter.
Or Joe Gibbs too, exactly. So basically the rundown is this. 3 years, been with 2 stellar teams in both Stewart-Haas Racing and Joe Gibbs, and has yet to win a race and has failed to make a single playoff appearance in a 16 driver format. Granted, you don't have to be good. You have to be at least mediocre to make the NASCAR playoffs. Just ask Ryan Newman. Yeah.
High-end mediocre is what you need to be.
High-end mediocrity. Like, you don't have to be good.
I really like Suarez as a personality. I think he's a great personality.
I think he's good for the sport, but in this case, though, I think it may be the right time to put him in that Xfinity 00 and bring Custer up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to go for that, though. He's already been in the Cup for 3 years. I don't think he wants to move down.
I think he needs to. I think he needs to do what Eric Almirola did. Eric Almirola went down to the Xfinity Series for a year or two.
Yep.
He sort of revamped, sort of got that confidence built back up, and he was, 2 or 3. I forgot how many years. It might have just been 1, but he was an older, more experienced, and more confident driver going up, and it showed even in a lower team like RPM.
There's nothing wrong with doing that, and I'll even say this. Michael Annett moved up to Cup for a while, and then he went back into the lower series. And granted, he's still not the greatest, but he is more improved.
He won a race.
Series. Yeah,
he made the playoffs. So I mean, yeah, good year for him.
He's more improved by having that experience in the Cup Series and going back into what might be the best level.
So I don't know. Hopefully Cole Custer gets an opportunity someday with them, and if not, I wouldn't blame Cole Custer if he goes to like another top tier team. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave. But I don't know. I highly doubt that.
Real quick, we'll get to this one, and then one last sort of bigger topic. So Adam Stern, he had reported that NASCAR finalized a deal making Geico the first company to sign as the premier partner for the Cup Series new sponsorship model. So that's something really big, and that's something we need to follow moving forward. I hope it does not mean that they're pulling some of their funding away from the 13, because as much as that 13 might be underachieving right now, it still is a full funded car out there filling the field. And Ty Dillon was up there this week. I mean, he's up there.
And a nice paint scheme too.
Yes,
nice throwback scheme.
Right. So I hope that doesn't affect that at all. But good for it's good having NASCAR have stuff in place. And then the other.
I just wanted to ask this question. So Geico, this is to be the official insurance carrier of NASCAR, correct?
Yeah.
So this is like one of those slots being filled. So it's not going to be like the NASCAR Geico Cup Series. So not a title sponsor.
And it's not going to be NASCAR Cup Series presented by Geico.
Okay. All right.
Well, they might come back from commercial like with that or something. Each different
like
one, but
not officially.
Yeah.
If this is the case, and this is the way that we're going with the way the series is, I hope that we can put the driver names back in the front of the car instead of keeping them in the back.
Yeah, I hope so.
I get rid of them to begin with. I think they're useless. But what I'm wondering is that, like for instance, the title sponsor back in the day with Sprint and Nextel basically kicked out AT&T and Verizon from sponsorship. So if you have a bunch of them, like say Coors Light is the official beer of NASCAR, how would that affect? No, I don't care about the Silver Bullet.
I know, but how would it affect?
I don't give a damn about the cars they won't sponsor. I'm giving a damn about the ones that they might stop from sponsoring. I don't know if that's going to be a provision or whatever. So that's something to look forward to, and I would love to ask somebody, and maybe I'll see someone this weekend. I can ask them.
And also, we might have someone on next year who can answer these questions. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
And then the other big one is NASCAR. Sounds like NASCAR has cleared stuff up and open outside possibility of hybrid engines starting in 2022. So from what I've heard, it's like a lot of people are talking about is it would get a hybrid engine would give a little more throttle response from what they're going with. So I'm
that's
hoping
what we need.
It's gotta be more horsepower because
don't neuter the sound of it and the car.
Yeah. I don't think there's gonna be a way to do that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I
don't want it over time to turn into a giant buzzing bee going around.
I don't think that's gonna be the case.
It won't be at first, but I'm saying just over time, man.
It could happen.
I'm old school with this stuff, so I'm very weary of any of these.
And he's an understatement, and that's an understatement. He's not old school. He's old school. Old school. Let me put it that way when it comes to stuff like this. Yeah, old man. He's our age.
Anyway, yeah, I'm an old soul. Anyway. That leaves one other thing. I think we might actually finish this up before the time length we wanted. Predictions.
Oh, predictions! Yes, my favorite time. We're going to Kansas, y'all. Or Jared's actually going to be there.
To Kansas.
Yeah, he's going to Kansas. So
I think Rusty might actually be there too.
Yeah,
Rusty
so
Walrus
that'd be
might
cool
be there.
to see him. Oh, I wish I could go.
So say hi.
Yeah, say hi for me. But let's get right into it, y'all. Who's gonna suck? Jared, you go first. Who's gonna suck?
This guy is not very good here historically for the most part. They wasn't too hot in the first race, and I don't think he's going to improve anymore. Austin Dillon is going to suck this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So who's going to suck for me? You know what? He's down in the basement right now, and after pulling that dumb move, he belongs there. Alex Bowman is going to suck. He's going to blow up or something, or he's going to do something ridiculous. Alex Bowman, I know he almost won this race in the spring, but on a serious note, that was under the lights. We don't know how the setup's going to be in the daytime on those long runs, with this package. So Alex Bowman, he's not going to make it.
I love that super chat.
By the way, Carl Singleton, that is a good super chat. We're
off to see
the wizard, the wizard.
Okay, well, Darian, I'll just say I don't agree with that. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to pick him for the win, but I don't agree
obviously
with that. So the other day, my predictions are going to be based off something I did the other day. I just let NASCAR Heat go and let it see what was going to happen in the race, and I've got some interesting results here for you. And two guys who really in the playoffs who did kind of the worst were the two guys who have already won. They're already secured, and they can afford to have a not so good run. And in this case, I'm going to say Ryan Blaney. He finished 20th in the simulation, so Ryan Blaney not going to have a good day, but it doesn't matter. He's already in.
Is the simulation winner your winner's pick?
Don't say anything. Anyway, all
right.
Dark horses.
Yeah, dark horses.
I think is going to be a dark horse. Well,
we got a lot of them.
It's good. This guy is a top 10 average at Kansas. Finished in the top 10 in the spring. He is now has nothing to lose. Going to Ricky Stenhouse.
Oh yeah, dude,
he's good at Kansas.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. again, still has that giant chip on his shoulder. We saw it in the spring. Was battling inside the top 3 and inside the final 10 laps. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I don't know what scheme he's running. Hopefully it's Sunny D. Hopefully it's not Fastenal.
It doesn't matter anymore because the Fastenal curse cost him his job.
Oh yeah. Well, I like to rub it in a little bit. So I don't want to see anyone lose their job, but at the same time, it still goes on.
Wayne gave $2 super chat to you.
Wayne Montgomery.
And he gave his picks. Suck Bubba. Shocker.
Suck
Dark
Bubba.
Horse, Matty D.
That's
Winner,
all right.
Hometown boy.
All right.
Is it you?
Yeehaw.
You're up.
Right.
You're up.
All right. So my dark horse got second here last time, and he really, really desperately needs a good run. It's going to be Bowman. Really, all of the Hendrick Motorsports cars need to try everything they can to win this one. Bowman, Chase, William. Based on what I found and when I did that simulator race, they're out. They're all out unless they win.
Yeah. Right on. Okay.
So who's going to win?
Who's gonna win? I'll go first in this.
Okay.
Let me see. Who's gonna win?
You say you're gonna go first, and then you take forever.
No, I know. I know. Just give me some time. So Blaney came in clutch last week. I don't think anyone's gonna really come in clutch. Win wise, like them. They might advance. Just based on points alone. I think Kevin Harvick comes back and he gets his first win in the round of 12. Kevin Harvick was dominating this race in the spring until, his pit crew screwed up. And his pit crew screws up a ton, as we've seen in years past. They're going to get their stuff together just in time to advance. And I think he's pretty much good already as is on points. But Kevin Harvick is going to get that win at Kansas.
All right, and for my pick, I'm gonna trust the simulation on this because I was kind of thinking this is the moment he needs to do this anyways. Gonna climb himself out of the 4 to be eliminated, and I'm gonna agree with that last super chat. Clint Boyer goes on to have the run of his career, wins it at his hometown, and Clint Boyer will be my pick for the winner.
I'm gonna go outside the box on this one.
Oh, here we go.
I think this one's going to shock people, and I think a few
Lord.
people probably will laugh. This dude ran really well in the spring. He got up, was competing up towards the front. Granted, wasn't one of the elite cars, but his team was sucking bad. I mean, bad. They've changed some stuff up. They've been looking faster these last couple weeks. And this guy he's someone that if you give him something, he'll make a lot out of it. I wish this was the week we had Michael Marutz on, because I'm picking.
I knew it.
Jimmy Johnson.
I know it. I knew you were going to pick Johnson.
I got Blue Jimmy 48 fan in the chat, so he'll be able to see it. So he'll be pretty happy. He might disagree with me, but I'm going with Jimmy Johnson. I think Jimmy Johnson. I just think it caters to him a little bit more.
Yeah, it does. It does, definitely. And I mean, this is one of his.
Where's it? Maybe it's because I had this. I don't know.
Yeah, you just had it right there. No, I couldn't see it there.
Well, no, I mean through the week. But this is Jimmy Johnson card from 2010 with a piece of his tire from Homestead in it. So.
Nice. Oh, Blue Jimmy fan says, "I love you, Jared." Yes, he loves you too, man. Oh,
ooh, this one's for me.
Yeah,
I was thinking $2 super chat. When is your BS? Oh wait, it's not for me. It's for some guy named Jared.
Yeah, Jared. Oh, Jared.
Just playing with you, man. So tomorrow. Sometime in the afternoon, I'll just do an hour Q&A for the 10K, and we'll have some fun, man.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of fun, I've been talking about this. I want to go through the whole rundown. The round of 12. Here's where they finished: Larson 17th, Blaney 20th, Hamlin 7th, Truex Jr. 2nd, Kyle Busch 3rd, Harvick 11th, Keselowski 8th, Logano 6th, Bowman 4th, Elliott 12th, Clint Boyer 1, and William Byron 18th. And based on what the points look like after that, granted, this does not take in stage points or any additional ones like that. The round of 8 was Larson, Blaney, and Boyer by way of their wins. Then it was Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and then the 3 that were eliminated were Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. Now, on the 8th and 9th, where the cutoff line is, Logano and Keselowski were equal on points. The tiebreaker went.
Wins.
Even no, it's not.
No.
From what I understand, it's not. It doesn't go on that in the playoff.
No, it's based on best finisher in the round.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Keselowski has had 3 wins. Logano has had 2, and at the Charlotte Roval, Keselowski had the best finish of 11th, but at Talladega, Logano had the best finish of 11th. So they're the same. In this case, though, Logano finished 6th at Kansas. If we come into a situation like that, Logano would be your tiebreaker, and Brad, equal, gets eliminated.
Get out of here, Brad. Get out of here.
So
Get out of here.
It's going to be fun when you look at it that way.
Okay.
I said that's a show. That's
about it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap right there. Good show tonight, y'all. Next week, let me pull up the schedule.
We're on my channel. Don't have a guest plan just yet. Working on something, but it's gonna be a fun one because I love it. When we planned the schedule out, I didn't even realize I was gonna be at Kansas this weekend.
Yeah, so it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing, man. So.
And so also just real quick about it. So I will be there hopefully, depending on what time we leave, hopefully on Saturday. Definitely on Sunday. I'll be outside the track for a little bit probably, but I got some hot passes I think coming in.
Nice.
So we'll be heading into the infield too. So if you see me, stop and say hi.
Yeah.
I've been living the dream last couple of weeks. Hit 10K, making getting a lot of good videos out and stuff, and I'm having fun, man. I'm just having fun.
No, whoever sees him, say his most recognizable catchphrase. This is just a hypothetical. I know they would have ran differently. They need to say it to him in person. Oh, that would be great. And get that on video, Jared, if they do. That'd be fun.
I'll get it on video. I'll get it. You say it, I'll get it on video. First one that does it, I'll put it on Twitter and video.
Yeah. All right.
One thing I want to say, I won't be on next week, so this is the last time you'll see me on the podcast, not a married man.
Yes, that's right. He's getting married, y'all, next week, and we finna be out there too. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
We better put a Twitter video out on that one at least. Yeah, we're all together again.
Yep.
Yes, man. I can't wait for that one. Danny B getting married, or Danny B gets married.
Yep.
Danny B tie the knot.
Danny B tied the knot.
Danny B wedding.
Yes. Danny B
Danny
making
B
babies.
And with that, we're done.
We're done.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.